Okay, it's been a while since I shot a video because like I said, I hurt my back somehow. I was trying to break loose the radiator support on the other car. It was rusted, the bolt's that long, it was rusted all the way. I was kind of laying at an angle, pulling, and it didn't really hurt until afterwards, and then I've been really messed up, so it's finally starting to get better. I mean, I was in spasms. I couldn't even, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get in my truck. So anyway, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I'm getting 65 now. Things that I used to be able to do, I got to be more careful. I'm stronger than my muscles are, so even though I can pull it, I got to be careful. So anyway, I want to talk about this wiring here. So it turns out, let me zoom in. I did a part 1 on this. This is going to be called part 2. So as I said before, that's the terminal firewall where all the wires come to the firewall and they go back to the, let me get my paperwork. And they go back inside the car. Well, I made a list. Let me see, I'm not sure where I am. Let me back up. I took a picture of this. Then I made a drawing. So it turns out in the back of this, again, I'm trying to figure out what is what, because it doesn't really match the factory wiring diagram for some reason. So there's 19 wires coming out of here. But I went around and I marked all the ends. As you can see, like, there's 3 wires, 4 wires, 5, 6, and so on. So anyway, it turns out that there's 52 wires. After it leaves here, it turns into 52 somehow, which is really weird. So I have to track down every wire and see what it is. I can't use the wiring diagram. I mean, I can get hints off of it, but there is not 52 wires in there. So anyway, what I'm going to do next is, put my ohm meter on here, and then see where it goes. And then I'll number it according to what I numbered on here. So I'm just starting, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll write the color of the wire as a start. Again, I got to figure it out. I haven't really done this before. And when I figure out where all these wires are, then I can start working with the diagram and what I have under the hood, what I have to hook up to. Then I can proceed. Again, it's a lot easier. You pull a car apart, everything's hooked up, you mark it, you hook them back up, and you put the engine back in. But that just isn't the case here. A lot of the stuff was disconnected. Some of the stuff was connected, but I took it off. I mean, the air conditioning was missing, the cruise control was there. But the cruise control, as you saw in my last video, isn't in this page of the wiring diagram. So you have to I'm going to have to go through the book and search all the different areas. Go look under air conditioning, because there's more wiring information under air conditioning. There's more wiring information under cruise control. And once I figure out where all the wires are, and if I ohm test them, then I'll put a load through them, which would be that headlight, to see if the wires are good, because you can have a good ohm reading let's say, I don't know if I said this last time, you could have 40 wires, let's say, of stranded wire, let's say 30 wires in a stranded wire, but they're all broke except one. Even if one wire is good, you'll still get an ohm reading that indicates that it's still good. So you need to put a load through and make sure the light is, the real way to check it is the light as bright as it is on a good known wire? If it isn't, you have problems. So that's where I'm at. And I'm just coming down here, I'm just kind of slowly stretching my back out. So one more view. The other thing is this, this block is useless until it has power to it. So you need a battery in the car that powers this up. So that's, again, I had no battery, so I gotta figure out which wire powers this up into the car. You would think it'd be a heavy wire. And I'm guessing it's gonna be a wire from the alternator. I mean, that's where basically you go, I think you go from the battery to the alternator, and the alternator jumps the power up. So I'm thinking that one wire is going to feed into the fuse, into here. And just not knowing at all, I'm going to guess it's going to be the heaviest wire. There's one heavy wire here that goes over to, let me zoom in. Again, I haven't tracked this down, I'm just kind of talking out loud here. There's one heavy wire and it goes to, I think, this is the alternator. So it's coming, you're feeding voltage from the battery and then you're making the alternator hot or excited, and then you're going to have a heavy wire going to here. So my money's on that is the wire that feeds the whole interior, all the lights, everything. But I haven't got that far. So that's where I am. So I'm just going to go, and then what I'm going to do is I put tape on every one of these. So as I figure it out, I'll write, for instance, I don't know if I said this already. That being number one, I already know that it's a black-green. There's two wires at number one, a black-green, a black with a green stripe, and a black with a yellow stripe. So then I'll trace that, and if there's any wires feeding off of it, no. So I'll also mark these as one. So it'll be one black-green, one black-yellow. I gotta go through this whole thing until I figure it all out before I keep going on this car, because I'm kind of getting close to being able to start the engine, but I want to get the hood fit. I want to get the hood fit and all that. So I need this in. And that's where I'm at. Maybe I'll show one wire of me testing it or trying to trace it. I just decided to turn it back on. For instance, as I was talking about, there's more wires going out of the firewall connection panel, whatever you want to call it. But like, for instance, there's three wires here. I mean, 3 connections, but there's 6 wires. So that means that 3 of these wires are probably going to the opposite of this, which I was going to drag it over here. There's one over here. Let me see how many wires are in here. 1, 2, 3, There's 6. On the other one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna have to, it's gonna go in, then it's gonna go back out to somewhere. I'm assuming it's gonna go to what I just showed. So maybe I'll use that as an example. Let me just get set up. Okay, there's probably a million ways to do this, but this is how I'm doing it. I got a battery source. Let me make sure we can see. Be nice to have a big old screen where I can see what I'm shooting at. So we got a battery source. And I got this thing called a power probe. I bought this in 2010 or something. Anyway, I hardly ever use it, but basically it's 12 volts going into here, and here's the ground. So we know that a wire, we need, you know, one end of the wire is positive and negative, basically. Just like a battery. So I'm going to put this ground on this side of the, I'm just going to call it a terminal. Let me think, what am I doing here? I don't need this. This wire shouldn't be here. Yeah, so ground goes down here. Got 2 lights. So I'm pretty sure it goes to here, to the black and yellow wire. So where does it go? So I'm following it. It's got to come out somewhere. So I see a black and yellow wire. Let's see if that's it. Yeah, that's it. So I'll mark that. So as I did over here, man, I got to go through every wire like this. So I'll just mark that number 1. And I can both see it, but I'm just writing number 1. And the other wire that's coming out of here is blue. No, it's, I already wrote it down, it's black yellow. No, black green, and black green is going this way. So it's one of these, black green. Again, just to make it simple on myself, because they're both black. So that's also number 1, if I can write it down here. Number 1. So I just have to go through everything. Well, let's just make an example. So I don't know anything, but I do know I made this in order. So I'm going to go down to the next lowest one. It's going to look in the back. I'm going to try to look in the back. And it looks like the brown wire going this way. So that's why I had this on here now, to make this ground longer. find the brown wire. Here's the brown wire. That's not it. I'm sure I got a good ground. I do. I think I did this one. So it is that one. Just that the terminals are kind of corroded. So that's going to be a number 2. Make sure I'm on the right one. Brown. Number 2. Now make sure it's not, power's not going back out. It's not. So that's what I'm going to do. Until I figure out what everyone is, then I'm going to put a load on them. Like I say with this, I think I can get this to work. Let's see if I can get this to work. I might have shown it in the last video, I can't remember, it was weeks ago. So now I'm going to take the ground off of, and put it on this light. I'm going to guess that that's the ground. See, when I push this button, it sends 12 volts. Right there is ohm meter. Just look right here, you can see these two light. Switch 2 lighting up. Looks like those two are lighting up. And this one looks like all 3. So that must be high beam. Actually, it looks like all 3 are lighting up. So again, I gotta figure out why. Maybe this is the out wire that goes to the next light. I'm not sure how to check that. Let's get the other one over here just for the heck of it. Where is it? No, I can't do that. Anyway, again, I'm mumbling through this like I always do. I'm figuring things out as I talk. I'm not an expert. Obviously, I'm just doing this as a hobby. But again, just to clarify what I'm going to do is, I got a 12 volt power source coming to here. I got that battery at the junkyard, by the way. I just keep it on a trickle charger. Let's just see if I put this on another one. If this ground goes on another one, it'll work. So that's interesting to me. Why does that work? I guess because I'm just going reverse. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. So this is the power source to this. It's got a ground lead. Basically, think of this as the battery. So I'm just putting the battery to a ground and a hot, and it's lighting up the bulb. And this is what I'm going to use as a load tester, because who knows how many watts this pulls out, or amps. Anyway, I'm just kind of mumbling through this. I don't know if I'm going to show any more or not, but this will be part 2. This is what I got to do to figure all this out. And again, part of these 52 wires is 1950. Part of the wires, for instance here, it says plus on it. So there's 2 wires right there. Let me move the camera. Again, there was no battery, but I found this laying in the engine compartment. So there's 2 wires coming out of here. Let me move to this side. And out of these 2, you got all this. So that's, and then it also goes back to the panel, like I was saying. Again, I don't totally understand this yet. So these 2 wires are what's feeding that fuse box firewall connection. And it's also going over to here. So it's not going to there. So there's 2 main trunks. There's this trunk, which is bringing the power in. And there's that trunk, I assume, going to the engine compartment. I gotta figure it out. And while I'm here, I also found this was all taped up. Somebody has put a jumper on here. So this wire, who knows where that went. And then here, there was tape. I think this is a fusible link, meaning overload protection. But once I get all this worked out, what is what, then I'll know what the heck I'm talking about. I can make more sense. And once I do that, then I can clean up the wires, tape them together, or put sleeves on here. Make sure the wires are good. And that's it. Again, the car is all backwards because it was never running. It just makes everything more difficult. But I like these puzzles. And like I said, my back's been hurting. I'm behind the camera now. I'm staring outside. So, what was I saying? My back was hurting, but the car is just waiting for me. That's why I bought it. I just, when I get bored and I'm healthy, I can come down here and play around with it. And this gives me enjoyment. And this is the reason I did not buy a running. I could have bought. I mean, I don't really have the money to waste, but I could have bought a Trans Am that was running, it was all together. But what would I have done with it? Just drive around the block? That's not what I'm into. And while I'm standing here, I think I showed this before. I don't know if you can see that. Joe, I showed Joe in other videos, a friend of mine. He went back, I think he went back to Texas. He just disappeared. His trailer's still here. And I don't want to get into what, he's got some issues with the family that he didn't cause, but he's back there trying to solve it. But anyway, he bought a oven, and this is the oven box that you put your stuff into the oven. The trays are missing. I just put plywood in here, put some old wheels I had, and this is my storage box for scrap metal. I don't have much scrap metal because I'm really a wood guy. So I guess that's it. Yeah, I just wanted to add this. This is new to me. I'm just kind of trying to figure out some kind of system. But I just realized I keep changing and evolving. But I realized I got everything numbered, but I don't have the colors of the wires. I need to mark all the colors of the wires on each one of these before I start. The best I can. I can always change it. So here's the back of it. You can see this stuff they put on it to keep it waterproof. I mean, it's seen better days, but I'm not going to fix it unless the wires are bad. So that's what I did. I numbered every terminal. I'm thinking out loud. I'm thinking to myself, did I do this right? Now what I did is I counted the wires back here. There's 19 wires. That doesn't include the battery terminal, so maybe there's not 52. Looks like this comes out of here. Just notice that. In fact, there are two blocks. I was saying there's two sets of wires. There's this lower section and this upper section. Looks like that'll snap out of there. I'm not going to snap it out. Just get sidetracked again. So my mind just wandered. So yeah, there's 19 wires back here. Let me see how many terminals are in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And there's 18 terminals in here. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's 18 terminals. So I'm just going to go through, mark on my chart. Again, I'm thinking to myself, how many did I mark on here? 18. So that's right, I got 18 terminals. 18 terminals, 19 wires. They turn into more wires. So again, I'm just evolving, learning, trying to figure it out. Part 2. Oh yeah, one last thing. Again, as I said, I keep learning, trying to figure this out. Here's the wiring diagram, and there's a schedule on here. You know, looking at these wires, a lot of them look the same. So I'm thinking, how do I? And when I go to refer back to this, I need to know what the right color they used. But anyway, they have, when I count them, where I said there's 18 terminals with 19 wires. When I count this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's 19. So that's exactly the amount of wires I have. But one of them says it's aluminum. So I don't know what that means. But logically, I guess if there's 19 wires and there's 19 colors, you would hope they'd all be different. So again, I'm thinking the wheels are turning in my head. You know, I just wanted to toss that in. it also says, I don't know if you can see this, for instance, we're not looking at any particular thing, but it says 16 gauge white, 16 gauge orange. This is on the inside of the car, by the way. But it does say the aluminum one. That's throwing me up. I don't know what that means. I'll work it out. Okay, I just discovered something else. I'm just going to share it. It's been bothering me. It's just, I mean, if you do this all the time, you probably know the answer. But they show a block of wires here, and they show a block of wires here. And this says 6-cylinder, this says 8-cylinder. So it's been bugging me. What does that mean? But I finally figured it out. Remember I was saying there's 2 different blocks on here? Well, this has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's write that down. 7. And this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if I go to here, you can see there's 2 separate blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is the engine. And the other one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So even though it says 6-cylinder right above it, they're talking about what's above that. So basically all these wires are going to this lower section. I'll just read it out loud. Low brake, windshield wiper pump, windshield wiper, and then all the tail lights. We got the left-hand side marker. I guess this is not the tail lights, this is the front. Left-hand side marker, left-hand side parking, left-hand side headlight, right horn, left horn, right hand headlight, right hand signal, right hand marker. So that helps me. Anyway, just thought I'd toss that in. It's been bugging me. Then over here, this is the bulkhead. If you can still see this, let me make sure you can still see this. Bulkhead or firewall, what I call it. And they show another 2 blocks of wires. And no, I haven't figured that out yet. Why are they showing? I guess what they're showing is the wires. I don't know what they're showing. Maybe that's the, I guess that must be the fuse panel. Anyway, I thought I'd share that. So once again, they show 2 different blocks of wires. This one and this one. This is for the 8-cylinder engine. This is for the 6-cylinder engine. I guess they had a 6-cylinder and F body. I don't know what cars were made in F body. And this is to the front headlights and horns. And then there's that main wire that I was talking about. I thought doesn't say what that is, but that's indicating that that's bringing the power in to here. Or else maybe that's not. I don't know what that is. Maybe that just says that's the bulkhead connection. That's where I'm at. Again, this is part 2. I keep discovering these little things. Okay, I thought I was going to end the video, but I discovered one more thing, which is crucial, that I've been wondering about all this time. So if you look in here, if you can see it, this is where the 7 are. This is where I think I said 11. Again, this is me trying to figure out what wire is what. So looking at this, you can see there's 2 rows of, and one of them is at the far right, and it says red black. So if there's 2 rows, the far right, flipping it over, there it is, red black. So if I go to the other end, top left, it says 12 pink. And I sure think that's it. That's a heavy gauge wire, 12 pink. And that's going to the distributor. So that helps me determine, because it's hard to tell what these wire colors are. I mean, I don't know what, a lot of them look a lot the same. That gives me one more hint. The other problem is my distributor I bought an aftermarket distributor because it was missing. And it's a 3-wire distributor. This has only got 1 wire going to it. So I guess they made 1-wire distributors? I don't know. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to make that distributor work. Anyway, I don't want to go any further on this video. So now I discovered how to read this. Oh yeah, and then going back here on the bottom, it works the same way. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. We'll just pick the top right. The top right of the 4 rows should be violet, V. No, that's not, I don't know what that V stands for actually. It says V here, but then when you follow the wire down, it says 16 black. Oh, the V is the lettering system of the panel, so this should be 16 black. And it is. That helps me out a bunch. I'm on my way. That helped out a whole bunch.